welcome or welcome back to my channel where I'm playing with inks, I'm writing my books with fountain pens and do lots of other cool stuff. So today I want to swatch new inks. I recently attended Cheltenham Pen Show and bought 6 new inks, and what better way to really have a look at them than doing like massive swatches. I love big round swatches, so we're doing those today. Okay, let me see. Okay, yeah. So we're probably, like I like to do, sort of group them into, multiple color families. And the first ones we're starting with are the Kaweco inks that I picked up. And the first one is Ruby Red, and I'm going to swatch with my glass dip pen the top of a Diamine 30 milliliter bottle. I have a pipette, I have a rag somewhere, and the first one is Kaweco Ruby Red, and I want to do 3 round swatches per page, so we should have so much space to really, they're going to take a long time to dry, but I'm risking that. And I'm using this pipette. So you get a lot of massive round swatches. Yeah, my glass dip pen is quite broad actually, so I want to get a finer one, but sort of the dominant industry ink models, they seem to be quite short, so I'm not quite sure whether I can do that. And this is Tomoe River paper in my blank Hobonichi. This is Ruby Red. Do little things around it. It's so funny to me how influenced we are by the people we watch doing swatches and stuff. I certainly began to sort of learn what I like by watching other people, and then just seeing, is that how I would like to do it? So it's definitely Danielle from my Dandelion Diaries, or Simona from Simone. Definitely, you can see the influence in those big round swatches that I like to do. The next Kaweco ink is Summer Purple. And I've already had this one in a pen, and it performed beautifully. Yeah. yeah, I would sort of it's a really nice purple, a sort of not too blue leaning. Maybe it's more like a violet actually. I really, really like those kind of swatches. Okay. And then already have ink all over my desk. But at some point I really want to get like a bigger desk, but I don't have the space for it right now. So the last ink on that page is going to be Robert Oster, Sydney Darling Harbour. And I have this one in a pen at the moment, and it's amazing, which it actually made me order more Robert Oster inks, which is not what they're compared to sort of your diamonds. They're quite pricey, but they yeah, there's a sale on at the moment, so could not resist to pick up another purple and copper, which has been on my list for quite a while. Okay, so this is Robert Oster. Sydney Darling. Right, and now we're going towards the red tones. Ruby red is very, I think it's almost more like a, yeah, it's definitely more like a pink, like a hot pink situation, I'd say. Okay, let me clear stuff off my desk first, because otherwise I'm a bit worried that there might be an accident, because I want to actually push the notebook over to the other page. And we're going to start with another Robert Oster ink. This is Bitstyle's Red Bear. And Bitstyle especially is so that is their one of their shop exclusives. And it's a lovely, like more orange leaning red. At the moment, still have quite a few poppies around. And let's see how to. And there's some poppies are really sort of blue reddish, and there are some that are more muted. And this ink, I have it in a pen at the moment, reminds me a bit, like at least coming out from a pen, reminds me a bit of this type of red. Although it shows up more brown here. Sort of a, I mean, I guess it's more like a red panda red. But I really, really like it. I've been looking into finding reds that I like. How do I do it? Oster and style. Red Bear. Oh, that was a bit. So I have it in a fine nib at the moment, and there you really have like a lot more, like a very muted red. It reminds me a bit of Dominant Industry Maple, in a way, but not quite. At some point, I really need to swatch those next to each other. Okay, then going on into the next ink, I bought one of the Cheltenham Show inks, and this is one of the inks, released by the UK Pen Shows, and this is Waterloo Sunset. And it's manufactured by KWZ. It has like the typical vanilla smell. I almost think it's more like a cookie smell. It has a baked element to it. Or maybe chocolate chip cookie. I don't know. If you have any KWZ inks, let me know whether that's accurate or whether I'm like totally off the rails with this one. But yeah, so this is a lovely orange. It reminds me a bit of Diamine Autumn Oak. Again, probably need to swatch those two next to each other. And obviously it's always the big swatches may look similar, but then once you have it in a pen, might behave totally differently, and you might get a totally like unexpected effect. And I've talked about this before, but I seem to have a knack about, I think lots of people, once they have a sort of favorite type of, I don't know, blue or purple, they end up with lots of different inks with very similar colors, and I'm definitely one of those people. So I want to actually do a small swatch book, or a smaller ink swatch book that I can take with me whenever I like go out to, maybe into a stationery shop or something, just so I know that I have a record of how many inks I have of a certain colorway. And the last ink is Dominant Industry, the Harbour of Dieppe, which is in the Painter series and really beautiful, and has like a champagne rose goldy shimmer. And so far I've only have this swatched in a very small swatch, and I really look, and this is the one that I really want to see in a massive swatch. So going to, hopefully that will be enough. This has such a vintagey tone to it. It's really quite lovely. Sorry, we banged the diamond bottle against the lid. See how I do it. Dominant industry. And I have quite a few. The Harbour of Dieppe. And I have quite a few dominant industry inks actually. The shimmer inks, so far, I've tried to put them in Twispies. That didn't work too well. Definitely had a bit of a clogging issue in both the fine and the medium nib sizes. I've put Autumn Forest in a Jinhao, actually with a fine nib, and that worked really well. So what I want to do, I think, is put the Harbour of Dieppe in. I have a Mahjong Wankai demonstrator, so that's writing really, quite wetly, and that's just what I'm planning for this ink. But I'm going to let this dry and then come back. Okay, we're not like 100% dry, but otherwise it just takes a bit too long. And you see I have added little swatches of the inks that I was talking about next to the inks, and I've also added Ancient Copper down here because I think it's darker but sort of related, so I'll give them a bit more time to dry. But starting up with Kaweco Ruby Red. Yes, this is sort of a more reddish. I think the comparable ink that I have would be Diamond Amaranth, but I really like this kind of pinkish reddish color. So I'm definitely going to get it in the pen quite soon. Kaweco Summer Purple is just a lovely purple tone. I think it's, when I think of purple, this is probably pretty much bang there. Robert Oster, Sydney Darling Harbour. I don't think I have anything like this. Cellular Cat is like much lighter. Green Umber, also what I mind, would be much more brown. So I don't think, I think this is, I'm really glad that I got this ink. Then the Red Bear, and you see maple here. I think maple doesn't have the brown and the sort of almost dark brown black haloing that it has in the writing here. So that's, maple doesn't have that. And then KWZ, I didn't write the name down, Waterloo's Sunset. You can see that it is sort of Autumn Oak is very similar, but in the writing, this is much, much redder than Autumn Oak. And then Ancient Copper, I think, is a bit of an in-between of them both. So this is why I probably could have put Diamond Sepia as well down here, because I think these are all sort of in the same ballpark. And then the Harbour of Dieppe is such a lovely ink. The shimmer seems to be really quite fine, more like a dream ink shimmer. It's sort of rosy from one angle and then sort of tan champagne in the other. So I'm really, really glad that I got all those new inks to play with. 3 of them are already in pens, and I'm testing them at the moment, and I'm very happy with them. And the next one that I will ink up is probably going to be the Harbour of Dieppe in a eyedropper pen, and then see how that works out for me. Thank you so much for joining me as I'm playing with colors. I'm all about the colors. That's the most important thing. And then I see you soon.